I am going to talk to you a little bit today about stories and inspirations and ideas that have created fragrances. A lot more so recently, perfume lines have been coming out where each fragrance or most of the fragrances have been inspired by a history or a story or a painting or something. One of the biggest ones is the Bond Number 9 collection. If you guys know about their lines, every single fragrance is inspired by a place or an idea represented or inspired by New York City. So everything is named, almost everything is named after a certain area. And within that fragrance, you'll find notes that represent the sights or the smells of that particular area. And other fragrances represent an idea based off of something that was inspired by New York City, and it kind of encompasses all of that. Another great line is the Romeo d'Amour collection, which is out of France, and each fragrance kind of tells the story of women empowering a situation, and it talks about the heroines of the czars, about one of the czar's favorite spies, and a painter was inspired by the perfume of this particular woman's journey, or the Princesses of Venice is inspired by a music festival with choir competitions, and a particular composer was inspired by this group of women who were so harmonious, and they all had flowers in their hair, which inspired the scent, and then a perfumer was inspired by the composer's music, and so on. And then with the Artiste collection, you have each fragrance was inspired by some historical place or piece or architecture, as the creator Carlos Huber is a historical architect, and so going and traveling and restoring historical architecture inspired the fragrances with the stories of that historical piece. And then with the Lalique fragrances, most of them are inspired by things that have to do with women. So they celebrate the woman figure, the woman's story, the femininity of everything. And for example, L'Amour Lalique, which came out a couple years ago, is inspired by something specific. A Japanese prince was really interested in Western art, so he chose René Lalique to create some stained glass windows for the drawing room in his palace, which up to a certain point were still on display in France. So there's a lot that goes into perfumes besides the notes. Like, it takes so much, and there's so much inspiration, and this is where all of the passion comes into play, because you get, especially when they talk about the ideas, you get passionate about it, hearing about that person's passion. Same thing with Creed. They have a lot of fragrances that were inspired by the history of the family, or something that represents a royal figure or a celebrity of the time. So there's so much that goes into this besides just the smell. And when you get really passionate about this, you can appreciate even the scents that you don't like. So it's really intricate, and that's what makes me so passionate, is because I love the stories. I love the histories. It paints a picture in my mind, which helps me paint a picture in your mind and gets you excited, which is very exciting for us as well. So I mean, I can talk about this all day. There's so many fragrances, but if there's any fragrance that you would like to know the history of, or if there's a story behind it or a special inspiration, leave it in the comments below, and I will do my best to find out for you if I do not already know. Or if you have a favorite fragrance that has a really great story or inspiration behind it, you can share that in the comments, or I think on YouTube you can reply with a video, so you could do that as well. So that's it for today, the storytelling part, the inspirations, ideas, passions of the perfumers. And we'll come at you with another video soon. Thanks for watching.